Hey there, it's Martha, and if you're new, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. A few weeks ago, I want to say early October, I put a post in the community tab here on YouTube and also on Instagram to see if anyone would be interested in me doing a Q&A video. And I got lots of questions. I got like over 20 questions. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. We're just going to go with it. So I appreciate everyone who sent in some questions, and I thought it would be fun. It was a way kind of like to mark my 1-year anniversary on YouTube, which was October 27th. And given the number of videos I had going last week and how busy I was, I didn't get this up when I wanted to, but hey, I'm a week late. A week late's not bad. And I wanted to get this up before too much time passes and you guys don't care. So I typed them all out, but you know what I forgot was to put the names of who asked. So sorry about that. But I'm just going to go in order, and I hope you enjoy this video. And if you have any new questions, just put them in the comments, because this is kind of fun to do every once in a while. I think this is fun. All right, so here we go. So we're going to start with the first question here is, I always like to hear what people are super passionate about outside of home fragrance. I know you love to read, so maybe your favorite book. Okay. A lot of these your favorite questions, and I did get a lot, are hard because it's hard to pick one, right? It's hard to pick one. So some of these answers are just going to be like top of mind. And then I'm sure when I'm, editing this video or come back, I'd be like, how did I forget blah, 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 right? XX, whatever. But the first thing that comes to my head when I think about my favorite book is an older book. So this is going back to high school reading. And I think maybe that's why it stands out, because it's one that still stands out in my mind. So I think I read a lot of books. This year has unfortunately not been a good year for me because YouTube takes a lot of time. Watching other videos takes up time, and then just trying to, family and the rest of your life. I work full time as well. So this isn't my full-time job. So needless to say, my book reading has suffered tremendously this year. So, but when I read a lot of times I can't remember maybe what I read earlier in the year or anything like that. But this particular book that I'm going to mention is one that has stuck in my mind since I read it back in high school. I almost want to go back and reread it to see if I would still think it's a favorite today. But it is The Count of Monte Cristo. I love that book. I love that book so much. It is a thick book. It is a thick book. I don't know if it's like 800 pages or 700 pages. It's up there though. It's a door stopper. But the reason I love that book was, one, high school reading didn't offer a whole lot of great books. There's probably only 2 other books in high school that I remember thinking, that was actually good. I like that one. But The Count of Monte Cristo, I loved. And I read that whole thing, and I do want to go back and reread it at some point. But I love a good revenge story. And that is a good revenge story. It is. I like karma. I like, the bad person or whatever getting there. And it's just such, to me, a great book. So at least that's what I remember. We're going back now 30 years. But The Count of Monte Cristo. Now, my daughter, my oldest, did have to read this in high school. And she did not like it. So I was like, really? It was so good. I've watched the movie, I know there's been a couple remakes of it, but anyway, Count of Monte Cristo is my favorite book. If you were to ask me like this, gunpoint, quick, come up with a book, I'd have to say The Count of Monte Cristo. But since we're talking books here, I'm just going to share what I have from the library right now, what I'm trying to read. So this one is A Winter in New York by Josie Silver. This author, Josie Silver, pretty much have read all her books. And I really liked, the first one I read was something in December. A Day in December, something like that. Josie Silver. It's like her first book, and I really like that one. Her books are more like romance, rom-coms, I guess. And that particular one, A Day in December, was like a love triangle kind of thing. This one I just started, so I don't know. And I also really liked another one she had, something about Lydia Bird, The Two Lives of Lydia Bird. That was a good one too. So she's kind of become one that I like to read in the wintertime. So I picked this one up. I haven't heard really much about it, but I saw it and it was available. And I'm like, oh, I like her. I like her books. This next one, I heard it on a book podcast. I cannot remember which one, but I wanted to read some spooky. I like reading like little spooky or witch books in October. It's past October now, so I did not get to it, but this is Witch of Wild Things. I just picked this up from the library, but I could pretend November is October, whatever. And then Lisa Jewell, she's another author that I've read many of her books, and I heard a lot about this one. None of this is true. So and I just was listening to a podcast. I love listening to book podcasts as well. And they were talking about this book and she really enjoyed it. I love currently reading podcast. Meredith just talked about this and I like a lot of Meredith's books that she picked. So I'm looking forward to reading that. So I really am going to make time to read this month because I do want to read more, which means I can't watch all the videos. I can't, but I have to make some, I'm trying to find that balance. And then the other book that I was supposed to read in October that I didn't get to was The Book of Cold Cases from Simone St. James. Now she wrote a couple years back, maybe like in 2021, maybe earlier. It was called The Sundown Motel, and that is spooky. That is a spooky book. So I figured this would be spooky as well. So I did read that. And then I was chatting with some of the friends in the YouTube wax community, and Alexis mentioned one called, I think, The Coworker. And that one sounds really good. So I've added that to my list. So those are the kind of on the radar, books on the radar right now. But to go back to your question, The Count of Monte Cristo is an all-time favorite. If I spend this long answering questions here, we're going to be here. This is going to be a 2-hour video. So this next one is, I would love to hear about where you grew up. Do you have siblings? Is there a scent that reminds you of your childhood? Okay, well, I started thinking of the last question going, ooh, that's a hard one. But where did I grow up? San Francisco. So I born and raised in San Francisco. Yeah, it's my city. I love that city. It's changed a lot. It has changed a lot, unfortunately, since, I was a kid. But yeah, grew up in San Francisco and I have a lot of memories. I have a lot of early memories. So here's a question for you all, if you want to type it in the comments. How old are you in your earliest memory? I think I'm like 2 years old in one of my earliest memories. Definitely under 4. So I have not a lot, but I definitely have some memories of being a toddler, which is interesting. So let me know how old are you in your earliest memory? I think most people will probably say maybe 7 or 8. They might remember like a trip at that age, but yeah, I have a memory of being spanked, and I think I had to be like 2. So I now remember what I was doing. So don't do that. Anyway, so where did you grow up? San Francisco. Do you have siblings? Yes, I have an older brother. And he lives not far from me. Although, he literally lives like 10 minutes from me, though we just see each other for like, the family dinners. And that's a shame because we used to travel a lot together and do stuff together, but our lives just kind of converge. But I love my brother very, very much. And yeah, so I'll see him for Thanksgiving. It's probably the next time I'll see him. And so, yes, I have an older brother. And that's it. So I grew up, with an older brother, grew up loving I'm more of a dude, like a guy, than a girl. I was kind of like a tomboy, and I think that's probably because because I had a brother. So love watching sports. My favorite team, of course, is the San Francisco 49ers, and of course the San Francisco Giants and the Warriors and the Sharks hockey team. So I do enjoy sports. I do enjoy playing sports more than watching. Although now that I'm older, I don't really play as much, but I've always enjoyed doing things and outdoors and stuff like that. But more so than dressing up. Like I have two earring holes, and like half the time I'm not even wearing earrings or jewelry. So I'm just like that, I guess. Is there a scent that reminds you of your childhood? And I want to say, I think Susan Fitzpatrick asked me this question, and I can't say that I do. I think the closest thing I can think of is spruce or pine scents. And the reason I say that is because we, Lake Tahoe is about 4 hours from here, and it's gorgeous. If you're ever in California, Northern California, I remember being in Hawaii and talking to a local, and somehow we were talking about honeymoons or stuff like that. But her honeymoon was in Lake Tahoe, and we all like, that is so weird. You live in Hawaii and you go to Lake Tahoe, and I go, but it makes sense. It's just beautiful. So because of that, and I always loved being outside. Still do, although I'm much more of a homebody now. So I don't know why I say that, but I loved being outside. So I would say my earliest, or the scents that remind me of childhood, are probably those tree scents, or being outside, picnics, camping. And so I do have a lot of fond memories with that. So that's probably the best answer I can give, because I can't think of something else. All right. Next question. Biggest lessons learned this year about YouTube, wax, or anything? Oh, wow. Learned this year. I'm going to have to come back to this one. I'll have to think about this one. Okay. Otherwise, I'll spend 10 minutes thinking about it. Okay, I will come back. So, Martha, I'd like to know, what was your favorite childhood memory or memories? Okay. Favorite child. It's, again, I'm trying to just think off the cuff and not overthink it. So the first thing that comes to my mind is spending a day with my dad. It was a Saturday, and we went to get ice cream. That sounds so basic, but here's the thing. As a mother of 2 kids, and if you are a mom with kids, I think what stuck out with me was it was just me and my dad. It was just me and my dad having a day. I know we went to San Francisco. I know we flew a kite, and we lived in San Francisco, but I think at that point we'd kind of moved further south. And I think why it's a special memory was because it's just me and my dad. And so my tip or recommendation for anyone with small kids or multiple kids, do something one-on-one with them. Just not, because you're always all together. But if you do something just one-on-one, treat them like special that day, they'll remember that. So that's one of my early childhood memories. My brother had gone camping. He was in the Boy Scouts, so he'd gone camping that weekend, and it was my mom was working. Because she's a hairdresser, so she did work on Saturdays. And so it was just me and my dad. We went and got ice cream and stuff. So that's one of my early childhood memories. And then, of course, I have a lot of memories of doing family trips. A lot of driving, a lot of trips in the car. But like I said, we'd go to Lake Tahoe. We'd go down to LA because I had an uncle who lived down there. We'd go to Disneyland. So those are all memorable trips. I do remember being 7. I was 7 years old and went to Disney World. That was the one and only time I went to Disney World as a youngster. So yeah, but just sometimes it's the little things in life. It's the little teeny things that you remember. All right, next question. And I could feel my neck being red. I feel the heat when I talk about emotions. Let's see. What made you want to enter the world of YouTube? And how long did it take you to work up the nerves to make your first video? Okay, what made me want to enter the world of YouTube? I think I have mentioned this in other videos, so I'll make this part quick. I wanted a place to talk about wax. And at the time, I didn't realize that my friends were going to start to love it as much as I did, but they didn't at the time, right? So I was kind of the first one to dive in. And so I wanted a place to talk about wax where I could talk about it and not drive my friends crazy talking about it, because I didn't think they'd like it as much. And I didn't want to be that person that's always talking about wax, especially if they're not going to be into it. Turns out we now have a little text group of one isn't as much into it as the rest of us. So we'll have like a side chat with, this is on sale and that's on sale and what are you warming today and that kind of stuff. So it's turned out that way, but it was a place to chat about wax and to talk to others about wax. So that's why I started on YouTube. How long did it take? How long did it take me to get the nerve up? Not long, to be honest, because I wanted a place to talk wax. And I did make a couple of videos for my friends when I became a Scentsy consultant, because they were new to it too. So I made a couple that are unlisted, and it was to them to talk about like the whiff box and to talk about like the latest warmer I got. And I just enjoyed it. And I'm like, I want to do more of this. And so I just dove in. I definitely was nervous. But I also felt like, well, not a lot of people are going to watch it. So it's like no big deal, right? If 10 people watch, it's no big deal. So I just dove in probably about a month after. I became a Scentsy consultant on the 29th of September. And my first video went up on October 27th. So just a few weeks. And never looked back. I will say, if you're starting out or interested in starting out, like I said, I had done a few practice videos, so I would recommend that. And there is a question on here on some tips on YouTube, so I'll get to that. Okay, number 6 here. What is your top 3 Scentsy bars? Oh man, top 3 Scentsy bars. Okay, again, I'm just going to go off the top of my head. They may or may not. I wish I should have pulled up my club. But not everything's going to be in there. So, Silver Bells is popping up in my head. So Silver Bells, I love. That will be in my club for a long, long time. It's just beautiful. And this winter scents are probably my favorite. So Silver Bells. My first love when I first joined was White Amber and Silk. I smell that, so I don't know if it's now become a scent memory. Oh, I have a lot of them. Gosh, I'm going to have more than 3, but I really love White Amber and Silk. Oh gosh. I'm drawing a blank. I want to say Cozy Cardigan, probably, or I don't know. I'm all because I love Fluffy Fleece, Polar Bear Hugs. Is that it? So I do have a few loves, but those, Silver Bells, White Amber and Silk is up there, and you know what? Yeah, I'll say Fluffy Fleece. I just like that one. That's just if I have to pick 3. What's your favorite Scentsy collection launch? It's probably one that I don't fully know of, but it's one that I want to come back because I think I've smelled 3 of the 5, I'm guessing, and that is the Catching Z's collection. I was not around when that first launched, but I love the 3 that I've smelled, so I would love that to come back. So that's probably a collection that I think is my favorite, just because I really loved at least 3 of the 5. I think there's 5 in that I would love to come back. What is your danger scent note? My danger scent note. And my battery's going to die already. This is going to be a long, long video. My favorite scent note is, or danger note. I'm guessing by danger means like, I'm going to buy it, right? Like, I think that's what you mean by danger. Like it's almost like catnip. Right now it's eggnog. Palo Santo. Marshmallow Fireside. I think anything with those kind of notes, I'm most likely going to buy. So those are dangerous. What is your favorite warmer? I think right now I'll give you two answers. My favorite warmer that performs, and I just love how pretty it is and it fits in my decor. So for those reasons is the Flyaway Dragonfly, or Dragonfly Away, I think it's called. It's so pretty, and I like it with a blue bulb, clear bulb, purple bulb, a green bulb. I bought those different bulb colors because I think it's beautiful with those colors. That one performs well, and it's just beautiful. Dancing Petals is another really pretty one and performs very well. But then one that I think everyone should have somewhere is the Milk Diamond Warmer. That's the little guy I have in the corner on my nightstand. And the reason I bring that one up is because that is on 24/7. That one I use probably the most, and works with my vendor wax, works with my Scentsy wax. And that's and it's small, and it's just like a little power horse. So that one I like a lot as well. Okay. Do you have a nickname? Mart. People just shorten Martha to Mart. So Mart is what people call me. Not everyone, but I think if you're a close friend of mine, or you've worked with me for a long, long time, it's just Mart. What is your favorite animal? Well, a dog. Dogs are my favorite animal. I miss not having a dog where I live right now, because I can't have a dog here. But I do have a dog at the house. And so if you watched any vlogs, you may hear me talk about the house, and you're like, what is that? So I'm separated. I am separated, but the house is 6 minutes, 5-minute drive, 10-minute walk. So Arlo is over at the house, and Arlo is a German Shepherd, and he's the sweetest dog. He's a rescue dog. So dogs are my favorite. I love having dogs. I love being around dogs. And in my adult life, I've had 3 German Shepherds. So German Shepherds is one of my favorite breeds. Just great family dog. Just love them all. And Arlo is our current dog. And yeah, he's just a sweet, sweet dog. What is your go-to snack? I don't snack a whole lot. I'm not a snacker, but is popcorn a snack? Because if popcorn's a snack, I love popcorn. I talked about it recently in a video. I love popcorn so much. So yeah, I'd have to say popcorn, but I don't snack very often. Let's see. Okay, where was I? What movie or TV show have you watched the most? This is okay. Come on, Martha, answer these questions. So I would say I don't repeat watch shows a lot. I have a friend, so one of my best friends, she watches Friends. She knows, she can recite every Friend episode, like the script. I think she has that playing in the background all day long. Like Bones is another one. And speaking of Friends, just tragic, absolutely tragic, to hear about Matthew Perry's passing. So, yeah, mentioning Friends, I had to say that because it's, yeah, that hit hard. That was sad, because I did watch Friends a lot. But going back to the question, I'd say what I spend the most time watching now. I'll confine it to kind of present day now. I will say probably the Real Housewives franchise on Bravo. I watch most of them. And I watch them even though, to be honest, I don't find any of them redeeming as far as people. I don't really like any of them, but it's when I come home from work and I'm tired, it's just something easy to throw on. I find it absolutely entertaining to see what these people who live in a bubble are arguing or fighting about. So it's a guilty pleasure. It's purely a guilty pleasure. So I'm going to have to say the Real Housewives franchise in general, Beverly Hills just started. And Below Deck. I do like Below Deck as well. So all of them. Mediterranean, Sailing, Down Under, the original. So yes, I do watch a lot of those shows. It's probably what I spend the most time watching now. Okay. Are you a coffee or a tea person? Coffee person. Absolutely coffee person. I don't care for tea very much. I'll only have it if like I need something to settle my stomach a little bit. So I take it more like for medicinal reasons. The exception being chai tea, not Starbucks chai tea. I'm talking like real chai tea. I do love that. I did, going off on a tangent here. I did yoga. I'm a certified yoga instructor. And so when I was doing the 200 yoga hours of training, we did have someone who would bring like homemade traditional Indian chai tea, and he would bring it for us. He wasn't even in the class, but he was friends with the instructor in the big like coffee thermos things, so that we can enjoy it during our breaks and stuff. Because it was like every weekend. I don't remember how many weekends. I think 2 months, like 8 hours. So 16 hours a weekend, right? 8 hours on Saturday, 8 hours on Sunday. And he brought chai. And that was the first time I tried chai tea. And I was like, why was I not drinking this all my life? So that's the only exception, but coffee every day, all day long. Well, not all day long, but every day. Okay. Campfire or fireplace? Fireplace. Campfire gets a little smoky on my clothes and in my hair, but fireplace, a nice cozy fireplace is good. Although a fire pit in the backyard would be kind of fun. Used bookstore or brand new bookstore? I don't know if I have a preference. I'll say new bookstore. Hardcover or paperback? I have mostly hardcover because that's, kind of what I get from Book of the Month. So this is like a Book of the Month from last year. I really need to catch up. But I prefer the feel of a paperback. So it's just easier to handle, hold. So I do like paperbacks better. If you could only choose one vendor, one to order from, who would it be? That's tough. Man, you guys are giving me tough questions. Okay, to not spend 10 hours here, I'm going to say Sassy Girl Aroma, I think. And yeah, I'll just say Sassy Girl Aroma. And I'll say because her wax performs for me. She's got a huge catalog of scents. So, I think I could order from just her and probably not get tired. And just her ordering process. So she's got pre-orders every weekend. So easy to order from. Scent performs for me. Great catalog. And overall been really happy with her scent. So that'll be, kind of gun to the head. Who am I picking? How have your scent preferences changed over the year, if they have? I don't think they've changed. I really don't think they've changed a lot. I like bakery from the start, and that's still probably my favorite category. I guess I was surprised with how much I enjoyed spring and summer. So I do like some florals, not all florals, but I was surprised at enjoying more florals than I thought. And it's not that it's changed for me. I just didn't realize. I never thought that I'd like a little dirt in some scents. Some of the scents that I've gotten, and I don't have many, but I've been so pleasantly surprised. And so I was like, oh, little dirt doesn't hurt. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's the best I got. If you could only melt 3 scents for the rest of your life, what would you pick? Okay. All right. That's similar to, okay. The other question was 3 Scentsy bars. This is just 3 scents. Oh, impossible. I'm going to cheat a little bit because I don't think I can answer that. I'll cheat by saying certain scent notes, maybe not a particular blend. All the Green Machine's up there. Green Machine is up there. It's okay. So I'll just kind of cheat a little bit. I'll say notes with, so blends with pistachio, coffee, and probably a Palo Santo blend. Eggnog is probably fourth. I've been buying all things eggnog lately. But yeah, I'd say those are, doesn't really answer your question, but scents with those notes are like my favorite. And then maybe that kind of goes back to that earlier question, which is what's your danger scent note, which I hope I'm interpreting that question correctly. Okay. So this is what I knew was going to happen. Like after I answer a question, I think of something else. Now going back though to what your top 3 Scentsy bars are, I have to put Woodland Suede. I forgot about that one. Completely forgot about that one until just now. Woodland Suede has to be in my top. Now I have a whole different top 3. Woodland Suede would be up there as a top 3 Scentsy scent. So circling back to that question, Autumn Stroll, I just warmed and I love that one a lot. So that's up there. And then Silver Bells. Okay. Then we're going to move on. But those 2 just popped in my head. I completely forgot. Okay. Do you ever worry this is just a phase and you'll get sick of melting wax? It's crossed my mind, but I'm not worried about it. But I've had maybe 2 times where I've gone in my wax room and looked around and said, oh my gosh, like there's so much in here. What if I get sick of these scents? What if this is a little phase. So I've thought about it, but I'm not really worried about it because I'm not really worried about it. Like I've loved candles all my life and scented things and perfumes. So I'm not really worried about it, but I do know I'm more worried about having more than I could melt to the point where I almost have like analysis paralysis, like where I'm so overwhelmed that I don't know what to melt, which is why I do those melting baskets once a month. So I'm more worried about that, or worried that I'm not using up older stuff first, and then eventually some of that older stuff doesn't really have a strong throw. Those are more my worries than me not enjoying wax anymore. I think the other worry I've had that is related is I have worried about what if just making YouTube videos is like something I get tired of doing. I've worried about that only because I did have a little period in time where I felt overwhelmed by how long it takes. It does take a long time, to make it. And if you're making a long video, like this one's probably going to end up being close to an hour, I imagine. That's an hour of filming. Then it's another hour and more plus of me watching it to make sure, was there anything I needed to cut out or edit? And things I cut out are if I'm like leave the room or get a phone call, those things. And then on top of that, feeling like I don't feel like I need to or have to, but I want to, supporting, my fellow YouTubers in this community. I really, really want to support, and I wish I can watch every single video and comment on every video. So there was a time there where I felt like, oh my God, I cannot keep up. And then I do work full time. So if I'm not working, I'm doing YouTube related things. And so I have worried about I got to find a balance between this and the other things that I love to do, like yoga, like photography. So there's just some other hobbies that I do besides YouTube. Reading, so it's just trying to find the right balance for all of that stuff and not feeling guilty that I can't watch every single video. But just know that I love and support all the people that I've ever commented on a video. I do watch, but it's getting to the point where I have to pick and choose because there's more and more people doing YouTube videos that I'm following. So anyway, that was a total tangent, but that's what I worry about. Okay, favorite vinyl record, one you'd never be without, never get tired of listening to. Ooh. Okay. This one I did plan for because I wanted to bring the prop up here. Favorite vinyl record. So many of you don't know me well, which is the whole point of this video. I still have my vinyl records from when I was a teenager. I'm so grateful I did not sell those off or throw them away or donate them. I still have them all. I don't have them all here. Some are in the garage, but, and I'll get to why I say not here, but in a garage. What was I getting at? But I have them all, and I have, I think probably one of the oldest records I have are from when I was a kid, like 7. I think it was like a Fisher-Price record player. So I've loved music my entire life. And I had older cousins who loved music. And so I got some of their records from when I was little. Like I have a Beatles 45 record. I have Donny Osmond. I have like definitely some 70s records from when I was little. And then I think I started buying my own records when I was like 13. But my first record that I asked for that wasn't like a hand-me-down was Saturday Night Fever and Grease. I think I was 8 or 9 when that was my godmother asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I said I wanted 2 records, and those were the 2. But to go back to your question, this is why this video is so long, going off on tangents. My favorite vinyl record, I'd have to say, is this one. It's Rio from Duran Duran, and it is, here is the original vinyl. When's this? From 1982. 1982, Rio, Duran Duran. I mean, I can't get sick of this. I can't get sick of this at all. I mean, it's got Rio, Hunger Like the Wolf, Hold Back the Rain, some of my favorites, New Religion, Last Chance on the Stairway, which they're performing. I'll get into that in a second. Save a Prayer, The Chauffeur. I mean, every song on here I love. So I've not gotten tired of this at all. And if you've ever been to their concerts, Rio is one of their encore songs always. I think they've performed this in every tour. But my tangent is, Duran Duran's been around for 40 plus years. And they just released an album on October 27th, which was my YouTube birthday and also the lead singer's birthday. But the reason I bring that up is because I've been listening to that like nonstop since it's come out. Even before it came out, they released some singles, but if you're interested, Dance Macabre is great. It was a Halloween. It was inspired from their show in Vegas, which I was at last year. And it was to do like a spooky, darker, I don't want to say goth, but darker, spooky kind of songs. And it's fun. They have some great covers on there. I've been listening to, is it Supernature? No. Yeah. Spellbound from Susie and the Banshees. They have like Paint It Black. They have a great cover of Psycho Killer from Talking Heads. And then they have 3 new songs, which I'm also very much in love with, and remakes, they've changed them up a little bit of some of my favorites, Night Boat, Love Voodoo, and then one of my all-time favorites is Secret October, which was a B-side on Union of the Snake, and they've redone that one and changed it up a little bit. So anyway, been totally off tangent. You guys are like, stop watching video. But I just had to mention that because that I've been enjoying a lot. Okay, that was that question. Since starting your channel, have you had any trolls? If so, how do you deal with them? Any comments where someone is being a Richard? And if so, do you kill them with kindness or block and delete? I do not kill them with kindness. I haven't had any trolls, like real trolls where it's someone saying something just mean and nasty, that kind of thing. I've not had that, thank God. Yeah, I'm sure that's a matter of time, but I've not had that. I've had some people make I had one comment on a short that I did when I was reviewing the Bring Back My Bars for Scentsy. I was doing shorts of all of them just to give you my warm reviews. And I did have someone comment on someone that just doesn't like Scentsy because it's an MLM and called me an MLM Hun. I think was what called me Hun, which, so it's like, it's like, obviously you don't watch my videos. I'm not here pushing things. I'm not here trying to recruit people. I'm not here, so I just enjoy wax, and that Scentsy's one of them. And yes, I'm a consultant, but I'm not pushing. I'm not pushing it. And I think it gets a bad rap from that perspective. I have had I've had one that I'd say was creepy comment. And then I had one guy making a comment about, I guess they take it as a compliment when they say like, "Hey honey, you look great," or whatever, that kind of a comment, where like a cat call, but like a modern day cat call. So I've had a couple of those, which is just beyond annoying. I get more of those on Instagram than anything. And I'm like, does anyone respond really? Like when you say hello baby or something, does like, hi, so block. To answer your question, block them. I just don't need to deal with that. Okay. 13. If you could only order one scent from each vendor, what would you order from each? Oh man. I don't think I can answer this. Okay. All right. From Sassy Girl Aroma, I keep talking up Green Machine, so maybe that one. Rose Girls, so many good ones. And I don't think this is my favorite, but I've reordered it. Goodnight Moon, but I know it's not my favorite. Definitely, I think it's, I really like, it's like Home for the Holiday, not Mario Home for the Holidays. It was a Christmas Eve in Cookie Land. And there's another one from Rose Girls it was a blend. I still have it. It was Fire Mario and something else. So, from Noel's Farm Scents. Oh, I'm tied between pumpkin pie, pound cake, and strawberry shortcake. But if I have to pick strawberry shortcake, strawberry pound cake. If I had to pick one, I'd probably say the strawberry pound cake. I don't think I can melt that like all year round. Who else am I missing? So we did Sassy, Rose Girl. Oh, Lavender and Speckles. Gosh. What's popping in my head is the Pine Cones and Spice. I love that one. There's so many good ones though. And Second and Spruce. My Lord. I don't know. I'm going to be here forever. So there's just so many. I'll just, oh my gosh. Come on, Martha. Something with raspberry. I loved her the jammed up and jellied. I'll just say that. Jammed up and jellied, from Second and Spruce. And I'm sure I'm forgetting other vendors, but we'll leave it at that. Top 3 favorite songs you're never tired of. Top 3 favorite songs. I've kind of already told you I won't get tired of these songs. I will have to put up there Ordinary World from Duran Duran. So shocker. That is a favorite. I have like a list of their favorites. I know what just popped in. So let's move Duran Duran out of the way. Probably In Your Eyes from Peter Gabriel. I love that song. Boys of Summer from Don Henley. So I'm definitely picking some 80s songs because obviously I haven't been tired of them and it's been decades now. You said top 3. Okay, we'll leave it at that. If not, I'll be here all day. I do have, what is fun is my oldest said, "Hey mom, let's do a playlist. I'm going to do a playlist and call it Martha's Mix." And so she started adding some songs that I guess remind her of me, of songs that I would like. And then I kept adding to it. And so it's a collab playlist on Spotify. And then I kept going. I was adding 80s and, 90s and 2000s and even modern day, like today songs, because I love music, absolutely love music. And I listen to, what's my favorite is when I hear an artist before my kids do. And I'm like, I told you, I knew that one before you did. But so I'm pretty, I would say I'm hip with current music on the radio now. But so I started adding all these songs and she's like, no, Mom, not all, just let's stick to the 80s. So I think I did sneak in a few 90s in there. But so it's Martha's Mix and she's played it now where she works. And she says that she gets customers asking, this is great music, great songs. And I'm like, thank you very much. So I listened to that playlist quite a bit. Again, sorry, I'm going off on tangents. Okay, least favorite movie and favorite movie. I love movies, love going to the movies. I love the whole experience of going to the movies, just if not for the popcorn alone. But first favorite. I'm probably going to say Star Wars. Reason I say that is it's one of the first movies I remember seeing. I had to be, was that 1977, 78, 77? I think I was 6 or 7 years old when that came out. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember we saw it at the ceremony where the Genco used to be, at the movie theater there. I was with my brother and he's older. And seeing that movie as a kid, I think I was just I thought it was brilliant, amazing. And those special effects from the 70s in that movie anyway, it stood the test of time. So I will have to say that because I'm trying not to take forever and overthink these. Indiana Jones comes to mind too as a favorite. Least favorite movie, gosh, there's so many probably, but there's one with, I don't even know the name of it. See if you guys know. It was with Michael J. Fox and Joan Jett, and they're siblings in the movie. And I think obviously it has to do with music or a band. I don't know. I think we left that. I think me and my friends actually walked out of that movie theater. We were just, this is lame. But the one other one that comes to mind is called Jacob's Ladder. And is it Tim Robbins? Tim Robbins, right? That's the actor's name? Susan Sarandon's guy? Tim Robbins? Yeah. He's in it. I know he's like the lead actor in that. And I was so pissed at the end. And okay, spoiler, move to the next chapter. Spoiler, but it's such an old movie that it's probably not a spoiler, but it was a dream, I think. I think it ended like it being a dream, and it just pissed me off so much. So I still remember being pissed off at that movie because I'm like, that was just crap. Yeah, I did not like that movie. Okay. Is there a scent you liked at the beginning and no longer find appealing? Not that comes to mind. No, not that comes to mind, but I'm still fairly early in my journey. I'm sure if I'd been warming wax for, 5 years, I might have an answer for that, but nothing that comes to mind. I guess, though, I'll try to answer this best. I guess what I can say, it's not a scent that I liked and no longer found. I was really loving the coffee scents that Scentsy came out with at the beginning of the year. Not the Friends bar. But like hazelnut latte and what was the other one called? Coffee. It wasn't Coffee Tree. I don't remember what the other one's called, but I loved it. And then my eyes were open to Vendor Wax coffee and I was like, oh, so that's one where I thought I liked something a lot and then realized there was a lot better out there. So kind of answer that question. Does your family have a scent that you like and they don't? Do you melt it anyway? Okay. So yes, kind of. My youngest doesn't love bakery. I love bakery. She doesn't love it, but she won't say anything, right? If I'm melting it and she's here. So yes, I would melt it anyway. I don't care. And I would say that, yeah, since I'm pretty much here on my own, I can melt whatever I want. So that would be that. Okay. Another question here is, any tips you have for starting out on YouTube? Your channel has grown. Congratulations. Would love to hear your thoughts on what you've done. Okay. So I need tips. Okay. I'm trying to think. I guess I can't say, I don't know what, how do I say this? Okay. I'll shut up, Martha. I'll shut up. I'll just say tips, things that I've done intentionally. I guess this is the best way I'll answer it. Things that I've done intentionally because I feel like they would be things that people would like about it, or that the YouTube algorithm, as we hear, it would be a positive thing for that. To work with the algorithm. I don't know. What do you say? Work with the algorithm. So, well, the first thing I'd say is be yourself. There is no one else in the world like you but you. So be authentic, and people that like you will follow. And those are the people that you want to follow, right? You want people who get you, like you, enjoy what you're doing. So be yourself. Don't try to be someone else, because I think people will see right through that. So this is me. I'm goofy. I like to have fun. I sometimes can talk a lot, although I'm an introvert. It doesn't mean we're shy and quiet necessarily. We just like to be at home by ourselves. So be authentic. I'd say be yourself. Second thing, and probably one that I got from it's not either other YouTube, but I listen to a lot of podcasts, and so similar to that, I treat my channel like a TV channel, like a channel, not just videos. And so what I have enjoyed, or what I always enjoyed from podcasts, are they have, at least the ones I listen to, they have a consistent time and day that they're going to release. They're going to drop their new episode. For example, Currently Reading is a book podcast that I listen to. I know on Thursdays, I'm going to get a new Currently Reading, unless they're on hiatus for that week or whatever. So similarly, I wanted to try to find something that I could consistently provide. So for me, it's been the What I've Been Warming videos. I will drop those on Monday unless something comes up and I can't. But that is like my consistent. And when I started, I didn't think I'd have enough content to do like weekly videos. I thought maybe my consistency, because going back to YouTube algorithm, it likes consistency. So I thought twice a month I'll get a video, and and if I'm consistently doing 2 times a month, that is good. So that was something I did intentional. Little did I know that I'd be doing on average like 3 videos a week. But so that was intentional. Other thing I would say is don't go buying a bunch of stuff. Like don't use your iPhone, use what you have. I am currently just using natural light. I do have lights, but I had them even before YouTube. So I've used what I have. But that's because I just had those things. But I'd say use natural light. Don't buy a lot of stuff if you're starting out, just to see if you like it. I do study up on things, so I like to learn. So for me, and this is just me, it's not judging anything else, I wanted a certain look and feel. So I do edit my videos. I don't know if that helps or not. I mean, I don't know if that's a tip. Oh, I know. And then I also look at it from what do I like to see, or what would I like to see that I'm not seeing? And by an example of that is I, in the beginning, was watching a lot of videos, and I'd maybe walk into the kitchen to drop, my coffee mug and then come back. And then I'd hear someone say like, oh my gosh, this is the best ever. And then they'd put it down and move on to the next scent. And I'm like, wait, what scent was that? And so I remember thinking, I'm going to make sure that I repeat. I don't always, but I try to repeat what I'm talking about when I'm, after I finish talking about it before I'm moving to the next one. And I also add everything I'm talking about in my video. Because for me as a viewer, I find that would be helpful. So therefore I do it. And also that's something I picked up from a book podcast as well. They mention a book that they're talking about. Then they tell you their synopsis, what they felt about it, blah, blah, blah. And they always repeat. And that was, Winter in New York. And that helps me from having to rewind or having to go back to find when they started so I can know what they're talking about. So I try to think about it too from a viewer, like what would be helpful, and then do that. Any other tips? Those are intentional. Those are anything else I do is probably not intentional, but lighting, use, lights, be authentic, have some kind of a rhythm, find a rhythm, because I do feel like YouTube likes that. Oh, okay. Other thing is, if you want to be part of the community, then you need to be part of the community. So and this is just me, again, my opinion, you can completely disagree, but I feel like if you want people to watch you and comment and all that, I think you also need to give that. So it's kind of like, in order to receive, you also need to give that. So be a part of the community, support your fellow YouTubers. I know it's impossible to watch every video, but, put yourself out there, develop friendships and stuff like that. And I think that helps. Yeah, that's all. That's kind of that's my tips. I don't know. I'm not an expert. But I'm just answering the question. That's kind of what I've done and how I think about things, like what would be helpful for the viewer. Cause I am a viewer. I'm also a content creator, but what's that kind of magic combining those two things? Okay. All right. So I'm going to circle back to the last question here, which I skipped in the beginning. Biggest lessons learned this year about YouTube, wax, or anything? Gosh, I still start. Okay, so I'm going to say biggest lessons learned. Don't buy everything. So I have, shockingly, I know some of you make fun about how much wax I'm bringing in, but I don't feel the need to buy everything just to buy everything. I don't haul things just to have content on my video. I haul things whether I was making this video or not, right? Or any video, I would still buy when I'm buying. But I don't buy everything. So I would say it's not a learning, but I think it's just something that I go in being very conscious of. I think the other maybe a learning was when I first started, I thought my magic number and how much wax I'd have on hand was like 60 to 100. I am beyond that as far as how much wax I have. So that was maybe me being naive as to how much wax I'd have at any time. Other lessons? Yeah, I guess just, yeah, it's not something I've learned this year, but I think it's just a lesson. And I say this to young people starting out, even in my company. It's just a tip, a general life tip. 1, be yourself. 2, just stay in your lane. Meaning don't compare yourself to other people. I say it, and I said it in a video at work, but it's like, keep your eyes on your own paper. It's like, don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Do what you want to do. You can't compare yourself to other people. You have no idea what is going on in their life. My kids are grown. I don't have small kids. I have all the time when I'm not working. I have all the time to do whatever it is that I want. So I have a lot of free time. So if you're comparing where you started and where I am, blah, blah, whatever, I think you can. Same thing with Instagram, right? I mean, anything out there that people put out there, just don't compare yourself to others. I guess that's that's more of a tip. That's not really a learning, but it's something I've learned over time, right? It's just worry about yourself. and don't get involved in things that you don't, like I've heard things, I hear things, but I like to make my own decisions about what I hear and what people talk about. So I do not like drama at all. Never been one to want to attract it, to get into it. So, that's part of it too. It's like, I'm just here to enjoy wax, talk about wax. Don't suck me into anything. I'll make my own thoughts and opinions based on my own experiences. So that's, I guess I don't know if that answers your question, but that's, I guess what I would say as far as things I've heard about or little inklings. And, it's like, I'm just going to enjoy doing videos and talking about wax and leave it at that. Yeah, that is it. So I think I got through everything. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I hope you enjoyed it, getting to know me a little bit better. And if you have any other questions you want to add, I can always do like a follow-up. I can hold on to them and just put them on a sheet of paper and then get to them, I don't know, maybe 6 months from now, maybe next year I'll do another one. Might be fun to do a annual Q&A. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for taking the time to ask questions. And I hope you have a wonderful day. All right. Bye-bye.